accountable. Somebody say, enough is enough.
Enough is enough.
I said, enough is enough.
Enough is enough.
Our government leaders ought to be ashamed of themselves because they come knocking on the door time and time again, asking for our vote, recruiting many of y'all to go knock on doors for them and canvass for them and raise money for them. But where are they now when we have lost a member of our community?
Yeah.
Huh? Y'all stop giving out free labor until you demand justice.
That's right.
If they're going to knock on our doors and ask for our vote, then we need to begin to hold them accountable. And if they don't want to be held accountable, then they need to move around. Somebody say they need to move around.
They need to move around.
I am tired of the status quo, y'all. That's why I left my job as a law professor after teaching at St. Thomas for 13 years because I was sick and tired of being sick and tired. I said there's only so much that I can do in this capacity inside of an institution. I have to spread my wings and get out amongst the people. For moments like these, I didn't know that weeks later we would have another death at the hands of the police department in Minneapolis. No, it wasn't the MPD, but it was the St. Anthony Police Department that's located in Northeast. And again, when you see the video, what do you see? An African-American man slumped over, blood on his chest. Where are the police rendering aid to him? Why was no CPR done? In the aftermath of him being shot and killed, what happens? You see his girlfriend being treated like a criminal. Her cell phone taken. Her being forced to the ground. It sounded like she was being handcuffed. And then they took the child away at the same time. I don't know about you, but after I've just witnessed my boyfriend being murdered, do you think I would want to be treated like a criminal?
No!
It's unacceptable. They need to quit denying our humanity. We saw the same thing happen in Cleveland, Ohio, when 12-year-old Tamir Rice was killed by the police. Within 4 seconds of encountering him, they shot that 12-year-old black boy twice in the abdomen. Twice, because he had an air gun in his hand. And after they killed him, the police failed to render any type of aid to him. It was an FBI agent who was standing by, who saw this kid lying on the ground, bleeding to death, who stepped up and started trying to administer CPR. Somebody say, that ain't right.
That ain't right.
I said, that ain't right.
That ain't right.
And not only that, when Tamir Rice's 14-year-old sister came and tried to run towards her brother after he had just been shot, the police officer tackled her to the ground. Then they put the child in handcuffs and placed her in the back of the squad car. And then when Tamir Rice's mother came upon the scene, guess what they did? They told her that you have to choose between riding in the back of the squad car with your daughter or riding in the back of the ambulance with your son. A mother should not have to make that choice.
No!
Why would you treat 2 children like criminals and have one lose their life? We have to understand that some of these families are able to sue, but all the money in the world is not going to bring back their loved one. What would you rather have, money or your loved one?
Loved one.
Exactly. So they cannot do much in the aftermath of somebody being killed to remedy the situation. So we deal with trauma upon trauma upon trauma upon trauma in our community. We are tired of going through this grief and this pain and this destruction. We're tired of innocent lives being taken. And then we're told, just let the system play out. Trust the laws. Well, when has the system ever worked for us?
Never.
Huh?
Never.
Huh?
Never.
It was legal for there to be slavery in the United States. And once again, they use laws to place people in captivity. They allow black women, and I just learned recently by watching Hidden Colors, black men to be raped by slave masters. To take control over them and to hold them in captivity and subjection. And not only that, when they dismembered slaves, when they killed them, when they raped them, not only was it a harm to the individual, but everybody around suffered perpetual harm. And they were sent a message that you better not try to run, you better not try to escape, because this can happen to you too. And right now we're being sent a message. When one of our brothers and sisters are being killed, and we see the system play out, and we see them manipulate the laws and try to justify their policies and their procedures that have allowed somebody to be killed, we are sent a message that it can happen to us. Anytime you buck the system. Look what they've done to our leaders. We see a lot of our white brethren, I ain't talking about y'all who out here, because I know y'all don't do this, but we see a lot of our white brethren constantly quoting Dr. King. Oh, Dr. King was so nonviolent. Dr. King was so peaceful. Yes, he was, but guess what he said? Our police forces are the ultimate mockery of law. That wasn't just Malcolm X, that's what Dr. King said. Why? Because as they're marching and protesting and standing up for their rights, they had to deal with police officers pulling water hoses out on them. They had to deal with vicious police dogs biting them. They had to deal with police force, excessive force, police brutality being used against black men, women, children, and white allies. They had to deal with those things. They had to deal with being thrown in jail simply for standing up for what they believed in, to say, make the promises of this democracy real, that all men are created equal, that we have the right to life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. Dr. King said, we're tired of going to the bank with the check mark insufficient funds. You work our ancestors' fingers to the bone. You deprive them of education. You deprive them of the right to earn money. You deprive them of the right to raise their family in peace, and to have children, and to own land, and to vote. And then, when you skip forward several generations, when we didn't get our 40 acres and a mule, when they never apologized for what they did, they didn't give us reparations, They didn't do those things. And then when we, as descendants of slaves, respond according to the trauma that's in our bloodlines, they try to paint us as being deviant and pathological. I would argue we are a resilient people who have always risen above oppression. And even when we were the underdog, we've always fought for the underdog. When the rights of black people have been granted, every single group has benefited. We have to recognize that. Even in the midst of the oppression, our hearts have still been open to our white brothers and sisters and to those around us. That's the kind of people that we are. Not the lies that you see in the media about us. Even when they talk about so-called black on black crime. Here we are, rallying against state-sanctioned violence, saying, listen, we're tax-paying citizens. We trust our government, at least we're supposed to be able to hire these people who are supposed to protect and serve us, and when they kill one of us without just cause, there should be accountability. There's nothing wrong with fighting against state-sanctioned violence. We do not have a death penalty in the state of Minnesota. People shall not be executed, shot at point-blank range, and we're told that it's okay. We're told that it's okay by the silence of the majority. When they try to tell us, just sit down, be quiet, wait for the system. Well, Dr. King encountered the same people. He called them white moderates. He said that white moderates were the greatest block to progress for black liberation. He said because they stand with you up until you go a little bit too far. They stand with you till you start protesting, till you start bucking against their system, till you start demanding a change from the status quo, till you start disrupting their economy. Then when you stand their political processes, then when you start doing that, oh, suddenly you're doing too much. You need to just wait. Well, we are tired of hearing wait. We need to tap into Dr. King's spirit and demand the fierce urgency of now. Say it. One of his books was called Why We Can't Wait.